Former President Barack Obama will make a trip to Hampton Roads November 1st to rally with Democratic gubernatorial candidate Abigail Spanberger.
And this will be the first campaign visit by a Democratic president in over a decade. Former President Obama last campaigned here at Hampton Roads in 2012. 10 Riverside's Michael Rinker joins us live from Norfolk with where that rally will happen. Michael.
Yeah, good morning, Kiana and Katie. Last week, former President Obama endorsed Abigail Spanberger in the Virginia's governor's race. And now, 2 Saturdays from now, the two will come together and try to push her over the finish line. We're just 2 weeks out from Election Day. And in that endorsement, the former president highlighted Spanberger's commitment to lowering costs and putting the people of Virginia first, saying Virginia's elections are some of the most important in the country this year. As governor, Abigail Spanberger will stand up for Virginia families.
Barack Obama is going to be on the campaign trail with your opponent next weekend, 3 days before the election. Does the Obama magic still matter in a place like Virginia?
You know what the Democrats are doing? They have called us back into session because they have the ability to do that. And when are they calling us back into session, Rob? On the very day that President Obama is supposed to show up and all the days that he's here. It's me they're after. And you have to ask yourself again, why? It's because they see what the polls are showing. This is desperation tactics to support Abigail Spanberger.
So the NAACP is endorsing the liberal white woman in Virginia over the conservative Christian faith-filled black woman in Virginia for candidate. The NAACP needs to be disbanded. This is an organization that I have no respect for, that at one time did so much for the African American experience in this country, has now become a laughingstock and a joke, has become an organization with no morals, no values, and doesn't represent the civil rights movement that were led by mostly a lot of Christian ministers. It has become a Marxist organization that endorses transgenderism, that destroys the black community, that endorses everything demonic and evil about, that's toxic about the black community. You have a woman, they would endorse a white woman, a liberal white woman, over a black woman just because she has an R in front of her name and not a D in front of her name. If they were really about black people, they would endorse candidates based off policies. They would sit down and interview candidates and see what they have to offer the black community. But the NAACP has become an arm of the Democratic Party. They're not a real organization that makes any change. They're not helping homeless black people. They're not helping struggling black people. They are a joke as an organization.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about a juicy story exposing something that I have talked about on this channel for a long time, probably since the first day that I started YouTube. I have made it very, very, very clear that so-called pro-black means pro-Democrat. That's what it actually really means. When they come out here and they say that they're for black people, okay, what they actually really mean is that they're for Democrats. They're for liberalism. They're for progressivism. They're for Marxism, okay? Specifically, cultural Marxism. That's what they actually really mean, okay? Pro-black just means Democrat Party and far left politics. That's what it actually really means, okay? And this story right here, again, drives home my point because Barack Hussein Obama has now jumped into the Virginia's governor's race by endorsing liberal white woman Abigail Spanberger over conservative black woman Winsome Earle-Sears, who's the current sitting lieutenant governor of Virginia. Now, Obama is catching some backlash for this endorsement due to some comments that he recently made during the 2024 presidential campaign towards black men. And again, we're going to get into it, but I want you guys to understand that history will be made regardless of the result, okay? Because Virginia has never had a woman governor. So therefore, whoever wins is going to make history. Now, again, if you listen to MSDNC and pro-black, aka pro-Marxist, pro-Democrat race hustlers like Al Sharpton, you wouldn't even know that Winsome Earle-Sears is a woman in this race. Take a look.
It really is incredible when you have Abigail Spanberger, Mikey Sherrill, her background, all the different jobs that she has held in the military, and also like Alyssa Slotkin. I mean, my God, these women are incredible. And to them, I would say fight, because we need them.
Yeah.
We need them leading.
And Mikey is like, she's doing a ton of interview. You know, when I talked to them, when I was in the car, you know, it was this car, she had gone from interview to talk to, but you know, you still see the anxiety.
Yeah, Cheryl did have a few missteps in her campaign, but she still has, as you say, about a 5 or 6 point lead per polling. Spanberger's lead in Virginia a little bigger than that, but you know, both still competitive races here heading into the last couple of weeks. But to Mika, to Molly's point, I mean, this is something that a lot of Democrats are grappling with right now. As they've nominated women 2 of the last 3 elections for the presidency, lost both. There are some who say, well, we can't do that again. The stakes are too high. But of course, that does fall into the same misogynistic trap.
Other countries have no problem electing women.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, again, if you are the casual viewer and you're listening to that segment on MSDNC, you would not think that Winsome Earle-Sears is a woman, right? You would think that Abigail Spanberger is running against a man, when in fact she's running against a woman. Now, again, it's funny how women's empowerment goes out the window when it comes to a Republican woman, when it comes to a conservative woman running for office, potentially making history. They don't really care, right? They don't really care. They pretend as if history won't be made if Winsome Earle-Sears wins, almost as if she's not a real woman, okay, because she's conservative, because she's Republican, right? It's not just women's empowerment that goes out the window when the viewpoints don't align with the Democrat Party. Also, skin color goes out the window too, right? Because apparently Winsome Earle-Sears is not really black, according to the NAACP, which is supposed to be about the advancement of colored people. And apparently the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People believes that a liberal white woman is the right choice for governor of Virginia over a conservative black woman, okay? Because the NAACP has endorsed a liberal white woman over a black woman. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. So, again, you have the NAACP and Democrats getting a whole lot of backlash over this. Obama getting backlash because people are now seeing that, hey, wait, hold on. This isn't really about women's empowerment. It's not really about black empowerment. It's not even about LGBTQ empowerment. It's not about any of that stuff. It's simply about aligning with the Democrat Party, right? That's what it's about at this point, because all that identity stuff goes out the window. All that, we need to make history, black people, represent, all that stuff goes out the window when it comes to a conservative minority, right? And again, people are calling this out. This tweet went viral from LEK USA. She says, quote, if Winsome Sears were a Democrat, she'd be on every magazine cover and mainstream media would be extolling her at every opportunity. Facts. But since Sears has an R next to her name, they pretend she doesn't exist. And if Spanberger loses, it's due to misogyny. Spot on, right? 100% correct. Again, evidenced by what you just saw on MSDNC, right? If Abigail Spanberger loses and a black conservative woman becomes the governor of Virginia, that is misogyny, apparently, right? That's misogyny. So this woman, Miss Rhonda Elaine Fox, who happens to be the former Women's Engagement Director for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rhonda Fox, and I'm the National Women's Engagement Director at Harris for President. Team, it's go time. As women, we have the power to make Vice President Harris the 47th President of the United States. If you're ready to do just that, we need you to answer Michelle Obama's call to do something.
She quote tweeted this post, and she says, y'all think black voters and allies are simple. You reduce us to a race equation. We're not simple, nor are we a monolith. She's insane. Bypass us with your faux analysis, baby bigot. Now, again, this is hilarious because once again, the cognitive dissonance from Democrats is completely and totally off the charts. Okay. This woman, again, was the former women's engagement director for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Joe Biden, the same guy who literally told Charlamagne the God that if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man.
Again, the cognitive dissonance is insane, right? This woman was the former women's engagement director for Joe Biden. And now all of a sudden, she has an issue with people believing that black people are a monolith. And that you shouldn't reduce black people to a race equation. Now, again, it gets better, right? It gets better. Because I responded to this and I said, you reduced yourself to a race equation and now your hypocrisy is being exposed. It's not about supporting black people. It's about supporting Democrats. She responds and she says, what are you talking about, Willis? I said, you know what I'm talking about. Democrats shamed black men for refusing to support alleged black woman Kamala Harris. But now Democrats are actively campaigning against a black woman making history. She responded, she says, again, what are you talking about, Willis? Y'all keep playing that Obama footage thinking that feedback was universal. It was to a targeted audience on a targeted topic, but you're too effing basic and simple to understand that it wasn't a universal sentiment. Okay, so this woman is pretending as if Barack Obama did not lecture black men on how they should support Kamala Harris because she's black. Now, let's listen to what Obama said, right? Because everything that Obama said in regards to why these black men should be supporting Kamala Harris had everything to do with race. Let's listen to this.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Yeah, so you say that, you heard that, right? Now, let's go over this. Let's go over this. Because, again, these people, they playing dumb, right? Like, I don't know what you're talking about, Willis. Really? Obama thinks that black men should vote for Kamala because, quote, she grew up like us, right? She went to a black college, understands the struggle, pain, and joy to overcome, worked harder because, you know, they claim that if you're black, then you automatically were struggling, right? You're struggling, okay, as a black person. And you got to work harder than everybody else because of your skin color, right? This is what they claim. And achieve the office of VP. Now, again, a vast majority of these things that Obama outlined as why black men should support Kamala applies to Winsome Earle-Sears. And on top of that, Winsome Earle-Sears actually served the country, okay? She was in the military. So, again, what you have here are Democrats being exposed, because now all of a sudden all that black stuff goes out the window, right? All that, oh, we got to support a black woman, brothers got to show out for her, right? We have to have representation and all that stuff they talk about, right? All of a sudden now that doesn't count. It doesn't matter anymore, right? It doesn't matter. Now I responded to this woman and I said, your potty mouth isn't going to save you here. You are making it very clear that you don't support black women making history if they aren't Democrats. Representation only matters if it's a black Democrat. Go wash some collard greens in a bathtub like your loser boss, Kamala.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. So again, this woman is triggered. She's triggered because I am calling out the hypocrisy of individuals like her in the NAACP and Obama, who again are supposed to be pro-black, right? They're supposed to be for black people, right? But now all of a sudden, when you have a black woman that's running for governor of Virginia, okay, an opportunity to make history, now all of a sudden none of that stuff matters, right? Support the liberal white woman, right? Apparently, the pro-black position is to support the liberal white woman over the conservative black woman, right? Allegedly, according to the pro-blacks, right? According to all these people who told us, hey, you gotta support Kamala Harris because we have to have a black woman as president of the United States, right? You gotta put a black woman in office. We gotta make history. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So Shamika Michelle, who I like a lot, she responded to my response and she says, exactly. Roland Martin said, vote like a black woman, but let's be clear. He only meant a certain type.
Remember when Roland Martin said vote like a black woman? Remember that? Remember that, guys? Vote like a black woman. And look, grinning real hard. Vote like a black woman. Why not just vote like a Democrat? Because that's what you really meant. Why not just vote like you are aligning yourselves with all of the ideology the Democrat Party pushes? Why not that? It was vote like a black woman. Well, y'all didn't vote like me. I'm a black woman. Y'all didn't vote like my kids. They're black women. What you meant was vote like a Democrat black woman, because we know that 85 to 90% of the time, black women vote Democrat. So you should have just been plain, Roland. Vote Democrat. But again, you pull on the heartstrings of black women or black people and you toss that in there whenever you feel like it benefits you. Vote like a black woman. When I mean, are the policies they're voting for helping the black community? Oh, wait. You want to make sure that black women can get access to abortion anytime they want, during any time of the pregnancy, right? Because especially in New York, we kill more black babies than are born every year.
Rhonda Lane Fox, she responded, I'm sorry, what does this mean? Looping in Roland Martin. Now, why is she looping in Roland Martin? The reason why she's looping in Roland Martin is because she's getting hammered in her comment section. She's calling in Roland for some backup, right? She wants Roland to jump in to this conversation, right? To jump in my ass, right?
You say what we say at home. So you're right. When you're sitting opposite of Scott Jennings, you got to jump in his ass. You got to jump in his ass. Jump in his ass. His ass. You got to push back immediately. Jump in his ass.
But I'm sorry. Roland is way too big. He can't jump in my ass, okay? I'm telling you that right now. I responded and I said, the former women's engagement director for Kamala Harris is pretending like she doesn't know anything about how Democrats pander to black people based on race loyalty. Incredible. Now, again, this is hilarious to me because, you know, this woman, Rhonda Lane Fox, apparently is from Eastern North Carolina, okay? Basically from the same part of the state that I'm from. She went to UNC as well, too. So I'm wondering, I'm like, well, who told Kamala Harris it was a good idea to claim that she washes collard greens in a bathtub? Because I know damn well this woman from Eastern North Carolina, she ain't washing her collard greens in no bathtub. But that's probably where Kamala got it from.
I have a friend who had a Christmas party, Christmas Eve every year, and she asked me to make the greens for a party every year. And I am not lying to you that I would make so many greens that I'd need to wash them in the bathtub. I'm telling you the truth.
So how do you make your greens? Do you put turkey in them? Do you
bacon.
Nice. My grandma
I
used
do
to
bacon.
Put bacon. She's put
Garlic.
vinegar.
I put white vinegar.
Yes.
I do. So I start with, I slice up my garlic. Well, but no, first I chop up the bacon and get all that fat going. Then I put garlic, some chili peppers, and then a lot of water and a little chicken stock. And I let it go for a while before I put the greens in. And then, right, so you get that going and all that flavor. And then I put the greens in for a couple hours. Then I do vinegar. And then I cheat and do a little Tabasco.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, but Tabasco of all, like I like Louisiana hot sauce, but Tabasco has that right amount of vinegar. Yeah. And so that's how I do my greens.
I see why you get invited every year.
Yeah, so my only question for Ms. Rhonda here, okay, who again worked for Kamala Harris, women's engagement. Are you eating those shitty greens? Right? Are you eating those funky booty collard greens from Kamala Harris? You eating them curry greens? Right? Because I know damn well, being from Eastern North Carolina, you know we don't make our collard greens like that. You know we do not wash our collard greens in a bathtub. You know that. And you sat right there and you let Kamala Harris claim that she washes her collard greens in a bathtub like that's normal. That's nasty as hell. We don't eat Hindu greens. You know that. You know that. But again, this is what you got to do when you're selling your soul, right? When you're selling your soul to the Democrat Party, as a black woman, right, from the South, you let Kamala Harris embarrass us like that? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, letting Kamala Harris embarrass us like that. So anyways, my point is this, right? All jokes aside, and that's not even really a joke, to be honest with you. I'm dead ass serious, right? This woman pisses me off. No, I mean, no, she let Kamala Harris claim that she washed her collard greens in a bathtub. Again, would you eat those greens? You know damn well you wouldn't eat those greens. My point is this, right? What these people mean when they say they're pro-black, they just mean they're pro-Democrat. That's what they really mean. That's what they really mean. When Roland Martin says vote like a black woman, he means vote Democrat. When he says support black media, does he mean support Brandon Tatum? No. Does he mean support ABL? No. Does he mean support Candace Owens? No. Does he mean support Greg Foreman? No. Right? No. He doesn't mean that. He means support Roland Martin. That's what he means. He means support liberal black media, right? Black media that supports the Democrat Party. That's what he means when he says support black media, right? It's amazing how that works. These people weaponize blackness on behalf of the Democrat Party. But when it comes to weaponizing their blackness to support a black person, a black woman in Virginia who's on the verge of making history, cricket, silence. In fact, again, they're actively campaigning against her. But then they'll turn around and tell you, hey, well, we're for the advancement of black people, right? We're pro-black. Representation is so important, right? We have to have black people in positions of power so that young black people can look up and see, oh, we can do that. Oh, a black woman can become governor of Virginia. Oh, a black woman can become the president of the United States. But again, if it's a Republican, right? Well, they ain't really black. Right? They're not really a woman. Vote for her is like vote for a white supremacist, right? It's like vote for a white man, right? It's amazing how that works. These people are fraudulent. They're frauds. This is why this woman got so triggered by me calling her out. I can't believe. I cannot believe this woman supported Kamala Harris, talking about she watches collard greens in a bathtub, but you run around talking about your blackness. Get out of here. Anyways, you should have your black card revoked just for that, right? You should never be invited to a cookout again just because of that. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.